When the dust settled on the 2019 CrossFit Games, one thing was abundantly clear. Norwegian athletes are some of the hardest working in the world. Standing among them is 30-year-old Nikko Theoden of CrossFit Championship in Oslo. At just under 6 feet tall, 202 pounds, this firefighter by trade has climbed the world rankings, earning the fittest in Norway status in 2017 and the new national champion status in 2019, which qualified him to the CrossFit Games. Billaudels's 223rd place finish in the Open wasn't going to define how he performed in his first ever CrossFit Games appearance. His strong outing in the ruck event, placing top 20, captured the true essence of the work Nikko was ready to put in. By the close of the 2019 season, Nicolay Billaudel stood as the 40th fittest man on earth. In his CrossFit Open history, 2 events have stood out as opportunities for Billaudel to improve. Those are the chest to bar pull-ups and thrusters in 19.5 and the 1-rep max clean in 18.2A. Thrusters historically being hard on taller athletes. Workouts like this are often balanced out by an opportunity like 19.1's wall balls and rowing, a test of fitness Nikko excelled at. His best open performance to date was his 49th place finish in 18.1's dumbbell hang clean and jerk, row, and toes to bar. If there's one thing Billadel's year-to-year CrossFit Open performances make clear, it's that weaknesses will not be weaknesses for long. For 5 years, Kristin Holte was quietly one of the most consistent and steady athletes on the floor of the CrossFit Games. The silence ended with Holte's 2019 performance, a war cry which would echo through the halls of the Alliant Energy Center for years to come. Holte, as a former gymnast and trained nutritionist, has the background that fuels the fire and feeds the flames of her competitive career. She has been the fittest woman in Norway since CrossFit began tracking in 2015. Holte's 4 consecutive top 20 finishes in the CrossFit Open is garnished by her 2019 placement in 3rd. This performance foreshadowed her 5th place finish at the Rogue Invitational, 4th at Wadapalooza, domination at Asia CrossFit Championship, and podium at the 2019 CrossFit Games. When gaps present themselves in Holte's skills, something incredible happened. She finished outside the top 400 at the CrossFit Open's 1-rep max clean event in 2018. After a year of training, Holte's returned to the clean in 2019, placed 5th among the field of women. Another example of Holte's work is her 31st place finish in the 1-rep max snatch event in 2017, which she turned into a 4th place finish in the Open's 19.4 muscle up and snatch event. The way Holte targets her weaknesses shows in her year-to-year performances. Along with multiple top 3 finishes in events, Kristin has earned event wins in the 2017 cyclocross and the 2019 sprint events. 2019 may have been Holte's first year on the podium, but nobody believes it will be her last. This defending second fittest woman on earth has found her voice. Listen for the roar.
Hello, and depending on your time zone, good evening or good morning. I'm Ben Garves from the WODDITY podcast for news about CrossFit. This has been a CrossFit Open for the ages, even just 2 events in. General consensus from athletes is that Games Director Dave Castro has outdone himself in building some of the best tests of fitness we've seen in 10 years of this global event. On the men's side, Greek national champion Hello, and depending on your time zone, good evening or good morning. I'm Ben Garves from the WODDITY podcast for news about CrossFit. This has been a CrossFit Open for the ages, even just 2 events in. General consensus from athletes is that Games Director Dave Castro has outdone himself in building some of the best tests of fitness we've seen in 10 years of this global event. On the men's side, Greek national champion Lefteris Theophanidis has set a new tone, leading second place Bjørgvin Carl Gudmundsson by 9 points. Fredrik Ægidius of Denmark climbed to 3rd place after a phenomenal outing in 20.2, completing 1,030 repetitions. Let me just break that down for a second. 1,030 reps with 34 reps per round means Ægidius finished more than 30 rounds, completing each round in under 40 seconds. Patrick Vellner is the most notable name at the top of the leaderboard, standing in 5th after 2 events. The defending fittest and second fittest men on Earth, Matt Fraser and Noah Olson, are currently fighting over 12th and 13th. We have a familiar sight at the top of the women's leaderboard, with Sarah Sigmundsdottir sitting in 1st. Sigmundsdottir won the Open 2 seasons ago and came back to win it again in 2019. Under her is another familiar name, Kristin Holte, who we will see here tonight on the Norwegian CrossFit Championship live stream. Holte and New Zealander Jamie Green are sitting right where they were in August on the CrossFit Games podium, in 2nd and 3rd place. As for the defending fittest woman on Earth, Tia-Clair Toomey is in the 5th spot right now, meaning this could be one of her best CrossFit Open performances of her career. Before 2019, Toomey had never placed above 12th in the Open. One of the biggest surprises out there right now is Emma McQuaid of Ireland, whose explosive 7-minute and 55-second time on 20.1 has earned her a 4th place spot after 2 workouts. What can we expect for 20.3? Well, one thing we do know is that we rarely see repeated movements. That takes thrusters, snatches, burpees, toes to bar, and double unders off of the table. The .3 workouts were all AMRAPs from 2011 to 2017, but we haven't seen an AMRAP since. This is usually where Dave Castro breaks out the more technical movements. We've seen handstand push-ups, handstand walks, chest-to-bar pull-ups, things like that. But here's the kicker. Muscle-ups have appeared 4 times in .3 workouts. All of these are movements we haven't seen in this Open. Castro also tends to toss an overhead movement into the fray. On top of the handstand work I just listed off, we've seen overhead lunges, overhead squats, wall balls, push presses, and jerks. The one workout that is an exception to all of this was 14.3, a decidedly non-technical AMRAP of just deadlifts and box jumps. I say just, but it was not easy. So far, this Open has been largely low barrier to entry. We've needed a jump rope, pull-up bar, barbell, and dumbbells, but that's it. It plays into the strengths of many athletes, but I'd expect it to be time for some creative variety from Dave Castro, who posted a picture today of a car wreck. The end result could be a huge shift in the leaderboard come Monday. Stay tuned as we get closer to the 20.3 live announcement from CrossFit Gamlebyen in Oslo. For WODDITY and on behalf of the Norwegian CrossFit Championship, I'm Ben Garves.
Okay, you know what time it is now. It is time for the live stream. We are just gearing up and getting ready to go. It looks like we have countdowns going on the time. Countdowns going for Australia. Let's check to see what we've got going in Norway right now. Looks like we have countdowns going in Norway right now also. All right, well, I guess that means I get to tell you some dad jokes. My name is Ben Garves. If you're not familiar with me, I am the owner and CEO of WODDITY. WODDITY makes tools and resources for CrossFit affiliates, as in gyms, CrossFit gyms, athletes, and fans. And as fans, this is one of the tools that I get to make for you each week, and I'm so happy to be able to do it for you. What we're doing is we are getting all live streams and putting them into one place, the YouTube channel for WODDITY, where you can go and every week you're going to be able to find this. I hope those who are returning to us from previous weeks are finding that the quality this week is much better than the quality was last week. Last week was just a rough week for anybody who was trying to run a live stream. Morning Chalk Up wasn't able to live stream at all. We had an internet outage here, and we were forced to do it from a phone at I think the quality that I said was a quality level that would make somebody with an 80/20 vision cry. But hey, we do what we can. Thanks for tuning in this week. This week we have some really awesome matchups. We are going to check in on the Norwegian CrossFit Championship. They are in a brand new gym that opens today and tomorrow called CrossFit Gamlebyen, which will be the largest gym in Oslo, Norway. They are hosting a head-to-head between Nicolay Billaudel and Kristin Holte. Billaudel and Holte are the national champions of Norway. And if you're not familiar with Billaudel, he placed 40th in the world at the CrossFit Games this year. He climbed the ranks. He started his open season by finishing 223rd-ish, if I remember right, and was able to pull out a 40th place finish at the actual CrossFit Games. So talk about an athlete who has improved year after year. He may not be the same legendary status as Kristin Holte, who reached a second place podium finish this year, but he is still an incredible athlete. I've been doing work with the CrossFit Anthem and Norwegian CrossFit Championship teams. While we are keeping an eye on their live feed, you'll probably see them pop up my live feed. If not the live feed, then they will probably pop up a couple of videos. I know that CrossFit Games YouTube channel has posted my athlete bio videos. I do those every week for at least the main matchup. This week I wasn't able to focus 100% because I was doing some additional analysis for the Norwegian CrossFit Championship, but I was able to at least get those done for Nicolay Billaudel and for Kristin Holte, so you were able to know a little bit more in depth about the athletes and what got them there, what their strengths and weaknesses are. It's again hard to compare the bodies of work between Billaudel and Holte. Billaudel just doesn't have the same lengthy resume that Holte does, but what he does have is the work ethic, and he has definitely put in the work to get where he needs to go, to get to the games. He has improved year over year, and it's going to be fascinating to see him working side by side with Holte this year. Just fixing a couple short video issues. There we go. Okay, so here I am, on top of the Norwegian CrossFit Championship. Hopefully the technical issues that I created for them didn't throw them off too much. They asked for a countdown hold screen very similar to the one that you watched as WODDITY counted down to the start of this live stream. Unfortunately, we had some upload issues with the video, and I had to send them a shorter one. I think they'll probably start their countdown about 10 minutes out from the start of the event and go from there. Now, let's talk about Down Under CrossFit Championship. So Down Under, obviously, is in Australia. They are going to feature two prominent Australian athletes. They have Madeline, or Maddie Sturt, and they have James Newbury. Maddie Sturt is a very young athlete at 22 or 23 years old. Newbury has been around, but he has something that not a lot of athletes have, and that is momentum. He had one heck of an appearance at the CrossFit Games this year, and he's looking to carry that into this season. So far, he hasn't performed up to that level, specifically with open workouts as they've been for 20.1 and 20.2, but he is out there and he is a strong athlete, so it is a big toss-up between the two. You have the youth, Maddie Sturt, lots of potential. You have James Newbury, who has shown that he can perform at that level, but may have taken a little bit longer of an off-season, especially considering the fact that the off-season for this specific CrossFit Open was pretty much non-existent. If you don't follow the WODDITY podcast for news about CrossFit, it's a podcast that I do Monday through Friday. We get you all of the news about CrossFit in 5 minutes or less and get you on with your day. We talked a little bit this morning about the penalties that CrossFit doled out yesterday. Watching that intro video with me doing analytics for the Norwegian CrossFit Championship, you noticed that there were some subtitles in there that were documenting out that some changes had happened. Frederick Agidius was hit very hard by a penalty in the 20.1 workout. He dropped from third place after his phenomenal finish in 20.2 down to 400 and something place, which just was horrendous. He posted a response video, how he felt about those sanctions, not those sanctions, but those penalties. But he posted it in Danish, and as an awkward white guy from the United States, my Danish isn't up to par. But Penalties, they were tough. The other athlete that we saw that was hit really hard by them was Samantha Briggs. Briggs jumped she was in the top 5, I believe, and is now outside of the top 100. There was a lot of debate in the last week and a half about whether or not CrossFit was going to take any action on this 2-foot rule for doing burpees over the bar. The rule was that you had to have both feet cross the bar at the same time as you're jumping over. A lot of athletes, as a more time-efficient movement, were picking themselves up from those burpees and throwing themselves over in kind of a spinning motion so they could land, complete another burpee, pick themselves up, toss themselves over again. And it looks like CrossFit has determined that there is somewhat of a line between doing that and specifically betraying that rule of using a 2-foot takeoff and literally cutting out some of those reps. You could make the argument the other direction that these athletes are clearly up to the level of fitness. But again, Samantha Briggs and Frederick Agidius hit very hard by that. At the top of the leaderboard right now, we have something that we haven't seen before. We have a Greek athlete. How cool is that? Lefteris Theophanidis, sorry about the name torture, is sitting at the top. It is something that we haven't seen, especially after week 2. Typically, as the weeks go on, we start to see athletes. What am I doing here? We start to see athletes shake up a little bit, and we start to see kind of the more general physical preparedness athletes like Matt Fraser start to pick up and come on. Look, what you don't see me doing right now is that I am prepping these live streams for you. Okay, just wanted to make sure that we weren't missing anything in Norway. It looks like they're still in a hold screen. We're going to jump over to Down Under for right now. But yes, Lefteris Theophanidis is doing some incredible work this Open. It'll really depend on what kind of workouts are programmed by Dave Castro for this week. If the workouts end up being something that is a little bit more heavy, something that isn't catering to these hardcore motor-driven athletes like the Sam Briggses, the Frederick Agidiuses, the Lefteris Theophanidises of the world, then you're going to start to see athletes like Matt Fraser, Noah Olson, Patrick Vellner pick up. Patrick Vellner, that is a fantastic topic in itself. Patrick Vellner has had one heck of a start to the year. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, so we have a little bit of motion here on Down Under, but nothing taken off yet. We'll just let it continue to load. They'll have fun with their little countdown. Now I'll keep you entertained with my dad jokes, which is funny because I'm not a dad. Okay, so if you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Not for any reason except that you don't miss any of these live streams. It's not necessarily about me. It's about providing the service to the community. I'm not charging anything for this. I am just here to make sure that you have one place you can go for all these tools and resources. Talking about 20.3 predictions, I mentioned this in the chat. I mentioned this in my analytics intro video. This workout, the 0.3 workout, was an AMRAP from 2011 to 2017. So we spent 8 years doing AMRAPs in this, and then just the last 2 CrossFit Open seasons, we didn't see AMRAPs. Could this possibly be the return of an AMRAP for this event? That is an awesome question, and it's something we're going to find out just in, we're talking 10 and a half minutes here. One of the other things that we're looking at that I'm personally afraid of, but I'm going to embrace, is that muscle-ups. One of the most consistent things for this week is that muscle-ups have appeared in 0.3 workouts 4 times. You usually don't see trends like that. Then again, almost every year we have seen thrusters in the last workout, and we had thrusters earlier in this season, so it could be that whatever playbook Dave Castro was playing by, if he played by one, has just gone out the window and he's doing something new. But it is possible. It is probably a higher likelihood we could see some form of a muscle up here for this workout. If we do, I think that is the moment that I start scaling or just staring at a bar. It's a little bit harder on we, the 6'6", 250 pounders. Don't forget, if you do want to support the YouTube channel beyond just subscribing to this show or following my podcasts, you can actually go to WODDITY.com and you can buy, we have some special edition CrossFit Open that don't say CrossFit, Open tees to help you rock out in some of that specialized fashion. I had the price dropped on one of the shirts down to under 20 bucks. So if you're looking at getting some gear that you can rock while you're doing your workouts for the rest of this Open, I mean, we are basically to the point where we are halfway through this thing. I know it feels long when you're sitting there working through a 20-minute AMRAP, but here we are halfway through. Maybe we haven't done the third workout yet, but we've lived through another work of anxiety about what that workout could be. Other than that, okay, podcasts. Subscribe while you're here. Make sure you support us if you'd like to. I hope the stream quality is a little bit better than what we've experienced in previous years or previous weeks. I apologize for last week. I'm glad that those of you who returned have returned again. I am not the only shop in town, so I appreciate that you're visiting. I'm Ben Garves, the host of the WODDITY podcast for news about CrossFit. I am going to jump you back over to the intro videos. We'll watch that analysis video one more time, and then we will jump into one of these live streams, and you will be able to see all of these details, all of these workout results in their highest quality. Thanks a lot. We'll see you on the other side.
When the dust settled on the 2019 CrossFit Games, one thing was abundantly clear. Norwegian athletes are some of the hardest working in the world. Standing among them is 30-year-old Nicolay Nikko Theoden of CrossFit Championship in Oslo. At just under 6 feet tall, 202 pounds, this firefighter by trade has climbed the world rankings, earning the fittest in Norway status in 2017 and the new national champion status in 2019. Which qualified him to the CrossFit Games. Billaudel 223rd place finish in the Open wasn't going to define how he performed in his first ever CrossFit Games appearance. His strong outing in the ruck event, placing top 20, captured the true essence of the work Nikko was ready to put in. By the close of the 2019 season, Nicolay Billaudel stood as the 40th fittest man on Earth. In his CrossFit Open history, 2 events have stood out as opportunities for Billaudel to improve. Those are the chest to bar pull-ups and thrusters in 19.5 and the 1 rep max clean in 18.2A. Thrusters historically being hard on taller athletes. Workouts like this are often balanced out by an opportunity like 19.1 wall balls and row. A test of fitness Nikko excelled at. His best open performance to date was his 49th place finish in 18.1 dumbbell hang clean and jerk, row, and toes to bar. If there's one thing Billadel's year-to-year CrossFit Open performances make clear, it's that weaknesses will not be weaknesses for long. For 5 years, Kristin Holte was quietly one of the most consistent and steady athletes on the floor of the CrossFit Games. The silence ended with Holte's 2019 performance, a war cry which would echo through the halls of the Alliant Energy Center for years to come. Holte, as a former gymnast and trained nutritionist, has the background that fuels the fire and feeds the flames of her competitive career. She has been the fittest woman in Norway since CrossFit began tracking in 2015. Holte's 4 consecutive top 20 finishes in the CrossFit Open is garnished by her 2019 placement in third. This performance foreshadowed
Norwegian CrossFit Championship. Tonight we are featuring a throwdown between Norway's defending national champions Kristin Holte and Nicolay Billaudel. Broadcasting live from the new CrossFit Championship in downtown Oslo, here are your hosts.
Welcome to Norway. The live announcement of 20.3. We are so excited to announce this workout here in CrossFit Championship. Me and my colleague, Nikko Theoden.
Hi everyone. We just wanted to say welcome to the first ever CrossFit Open live announcement in Oslo, Norway. We are so excited to be here with you guys tonight, here at CrossFit Gamlebyen, the brand new affiliate in downtown Oslo. Now, without further ado, let's do an introduction of the athletes for tonight's workout.
5 years, Kristin Holte was quietly one of the most consistent and steady athletes on the floor of the CrossFit Games. The silence ended with Holte's 2019 performance, a war cry which would echo through the halls of the Alliant Energy Center for years to come. Holte, as a former gymnast and trained nutritionist, has the background that fuels the fire and feeds the flames of her competitive career. She has been the fittest woman in Norway since CrossFit began tracking in 2015. Holte's 4 consecutive top 20 finishes in the CrossFit Open is garnished by her 2019 placement in third. This performance foreshadowed her 5th place finish at the Rogue Invitational, 4th at Wadapalooza, domination at Asia CrossFit Championship, and podium at the 2019 CrossFit Games. When gaps present themselves in Holte's skills, something incredible happens. She finished outside the top 400 at the CrossFit Open's 1-rep max clean event in 2018. After a year of training, Holte's return to the clean in 2019 placed 5th among the field of women. Another example of Holte's work is her 31st place finish in the 1-rep max snatch event in 2017, which she turned into a 4th place finish in the Open's 19.4 muscle up and snatch event. The way Holte targets her weaknesses shows in her year-to-year performances. Along with multiple top 3 finishes in events, Kristin has earned event wins in the 2017 cyclocross and the 2019 sprint events. 2019 may have been Holte's first year on the podium, but nobody believes it will be her last. This defending second fittest woman on earth has found her voice. Listen for the roar.
Hey man, that voice sounded familiar.
When the dust settled on the 2019 CrossFit Games, one thing was abundantly clear. Norwegian athletes are some of the hardest working in the world. Standing among them is 30-year-old Nicolay Nikko Theoden of CrossFit Championship in Oslo. At just under 6 feet tall, 202 pounds, this firefighter by trade has climbed the world rankings, earning the fittest in Norway status in 2017 and the new national champion status in 2019, which qualified him to the CrossFit Games. Billaudel's 223rd place finish in the Open wasn't going to define how he performed in his first ever CrossFit Games appearance. His strong outing in the ruck event, placing top 20, captured the true essence of the work Nikko was ready to put in. By the close of the 2019 season, Nicolay Billaudel stood as the 40th fittest man on earth. In his CrossFit Open history, 2 events have stood out as opportunities for Billaudel to improve. Those are the chest-to-bar pull-ups and thrusters in 19.5 and the 1-rep max clean in 18.2a. Thrusters historically being hard on taller athletes. Workouts like this are often balanced out by an opportunity like 19.1's wall balls and rowing, a test of fitness Nikko excelled at. His best Open performance to date was his 49th place finish in 18.1's dumbbell hang clean and jerk, row, and toes to bar. If there's one thing Billadel's year-to-year CrossFit Open performances make clear, it's that weaknesses will not be weaknesses for long.
One thing I didn't think about was how exhausting it's probably on you guys to have to watch that video over and over again.
Welcome the world to Norway. My name is Roger. I'm going to be the host tonight. And we're going to announce the workout 20.3 here in CrossFit Gamleby. Are we awake? Super excited. So here in CrossFit Gamleby, we have gathered all the people in the middle of the night. We are super excited to have Kristin Holte versus Nikko Theoden as the main event. But directly afterwards, we're going to have Rebecca from Sweden living in Denmark, representing Butcher's Lab, and Mathilde Garnes living in Norway from Trondheim, going to do a battle directly after Holte and Nicolay. We have 2 more minutes before we're going to announce the workout. So wait for a couple of 2 more minutes.
If you didn't know, they just opened CrossFit Gamleby today. The pictures of it, if you go to Gamleby's website, it's phenomenal. It's this old space in downtown Oslo that they have just remodeled and rebuilt. It is now the largest gym in Oslo, and it's really cool because it is a CrossFit gym. It is a CrossFit affiliate. They have these big name athletes here for this debut. They are getting ready for this, whatever it's going to be.
So people, who will win between Nikko and Holte? Names. Come on, who will win? Oh, we got a Nikko over here.
If it's a long rowing event, Nikko could do
between
good.
Rebecca and Mathilde, who's going to win? Oh, lots of Norwegian.
I have my money on Mathilde Garnes.
Rebecca.
She is a beast.
So we have 1 more minute to an announcement of 20.3 here in CrossFit Gamleby in the middle of the night, but we have a lot of energy here, powered by Nikko. Okay, people, can I hear your roar?
This is why you watch it, so you can watch me commentate, right? This is why you're here.
So I'm gonna check the official watch.
Now what they're doing right now is legally they cannot disclose this workout before a specific time, so they make sure that this happens simultaneously across the live stream here at Down Under and down in Argentina.
In the middle of Oslo in Norway, the workout is a repeat. And the workout is 21:59. Deadlift and handstand push-ups. And directly after that, we're going to have deadlifts and handstand walk. So that's the 20.3. The open workout is announced. It's a repeat from 18.4. So people, a couple of minutes, we're going to do this. So let me hear your roar. So let's get back to the studio to Phil Haskett and Josefina.
Okay, so this is a repeat of 18.4. It is 21:15.9 of deadlift handstand push-ups and deadlift handstand walks, I believe.
Prepared Programming founder Phil Haskett, also games athlete, who's joining me here in the studio.
What's up, Phil?
Now, Phil, let's talk a little bit about this workout that was just announced. 21, 15, and 9 are the numbers we're looking at here. What do you think about this 18.4 redo?
Yeah, maybe not one that people were expecting. It's definitely one of the more challenging workouts that, skill-wise and weight-wise that the games has put up before. Those 315 deadlifts and 225 deadlifts are going to get really, really tough for a lot of people. The handstand push-ups and handstand walk combo is really hard, walking on your hands after all of that pre-fatigue of the handstand push-ups. So yeah, it's one of those where people might start to go out a little bit too fast at the start, and it's going to hit you real hard in the second half of that workout.
Now, so what type of strategy do you think we're going to see here? First looking at Kristin Holte and then at Nikko Billaudel. Do you think we'll see a difference in strategy from the two athletes?
Billaudel.
I think they will both attack maybe in a similar way. I would kind of give the edge to Kristin, I think, especially with those handstand push-ups, being able to move a little bit faster through those. I think you'll see those elite athletes going pretty much unbroken, especially through the first 21, 15, 9. Maybe breaking those deadlifts up on the second set.
On the screen for you. This is from CrossFit site. So 18.4, 21 deadlift, 21 handstand push-ups, 15 deadlifts, 15 handstand push-ups, 9. Then we switch to a much, so look at that, 315-pound deadlift, 21 reps, and we move on with our lives.
Let's look at how would then this elite athlete attack.
I think somebody actually called this in the chat that we were doing before this live stream started. All right, we'll go back to Norway.
This workout, being able to do pretty much unbroken sets is what you'll see, or very fast, short, effective breaks. What the rest of the population needs to do is kind of reel it in a little bit, break up those sets, not getting too excited through those sets of 21 and going unbroken when the 15s is where those 21, 15, 9s really start to hurt. So pacing your way through those earlier sets so that you can progress further through this workout, because it's a super challenging time cap just to finish this workout.
Right. So there you have it, folks. Now, if you are one of the super athletes competing here tonight, I'm sure we'll see very interesting strategies from both. If you are a community athlete competing perhaps tonight or tomorrow or over the next couple of days, you might want to consider following Phil Haskett's advice here and split up those reps early. Now, a few minutes away here, and we will have Kristin Holte and Nikko Billaudel take the floor, ready for the 20.3 workout.
Sorry.
We're excited to see how this goes tonight. In a few minutes, we will be getting ready. Right now, we have our athletes getting briefed by our judges. We will be expecting a national anthem in a few minutes here, the Norwegian national anthem, before our athletes take the floor. We wish them the best of luck.
All right, so I have turned them down. You're going to bear with me for a second. We're going to zip on over and see if we can't find that Australian, that Down Under CrossFit Championship live stream here, so we can check in on James Newbury and Maddie Sturt.
Harder workout, which in my opinion is fine as well.
And looking at it that way, I suppose, the first part of the workout essentially is Diane, and for a lot of people, getting through that workout is tough enough in itself. Yeah. A 9-minute time cap. If you can't deadlift 140 kilos for men, 92 I think it is for females, and your focus probably should be, let's just get...
As a translate, that is 225 pounds for the first 21, 15, 9, and then that second round you're zipping up to 315 pounds.
Ladies over a 93 kilo deadlift. By the time you've done those 21, 15, 9, your hamstrings and glutes, they are on fire. So you need to probably have about 170, 180 kilo deadlift for the guys, and at least 100 kilo deadlift 110 kilo deadlift for the ladies to try and give that second weight a good red hot crack.
And as you mentioned before, mate, going out the blocks in this workout might not be the best tactic. I mean, as you mentioned, the hammies are going to start to go. So if your Diane time might be around about, let's say, sub 3, your advice maybe taper it back a little bit, push it out to 4, make sure you've saved some energy in your tank to tackle those heavier deadlifts.
Yeah, definitely. I did this in 2018. I went pretty hard on the Diane piece, thinking that
to the heights, it's the same rules as before.
All right,
the
we are
heels
back
above the
at
line.
Norway.
Straight line,
Watching
no ass to the
Kristin
wall.
Holte and Nicolay Billaudel get
It's
revved
allowed
up.
to
They
have
are
two
the
barbells.
fittest man and fittest woman in Norway from the 2019 CrossFit Games season at CrossFit Gamleben in downtown Oslo. You guys want some music? I'll get some music going for you while we're on this hold screen because nobody likes silence. Okay, if you are just now tuning in, if you are one of those really, we feel bad for you latecomers, the workout is a repeat of 18.4. It is 21:15.9 of deadlift and handstand push-ups, the deadlift being at 225 pounds for men. And then for that is basically Diane, and then you head into a second round of 21:15.9, deadlift at 315 pounds, and handstand walks. It's a treacherous one, and it's actually pretty similar to 14.3, which was a guess for this workout that would have been a deadlift and box jump AMRAP.
Kristin Holte is getting ready for her measurements, together with Kristoffer Johansson, the judge, and Daniel Moore, the judge and the head coach of CrossFit Open.
Now, what I am doing right now is I am looking up performances. Oh, here we go.
It is 2 o'clock in the night, in the middle of Oslo. We have a big chunk of people from all over the Norwegian CrossFit community. Do we have any foreigners here? I heard we have some guys from France, and we have some guys from Switzerland here. And Phil Haskes from Sweden, aka Dubai. Kristin Holte is working on her standards. And one important rule is when they start the workout, always stand tall before you do your deadlifts. 3, 2, no rep. 3, 2, go.
Okay, so while they are talking through the standards, let's talk about what the leaderboard looked like back in 2018 when this was done in the Open. So Austin Malleolo, who is no longer competing as an individual, took first in this workout, followed by Bartek Lipka. Rob Forte was in fourth. Fifth place, Matt Fraser. So Fraser is probably drooling that this workout has popped back up. Alex Vigneault was under him. Patrick Vellner was in the top 10. Rich Froning probably also in the top 10 or 12. So this is for sure a workout that caters toward those general physical preparedness athletes, the Matt Frasers, Patrick Vellners, Rich Fronings of the world. I'll be back in a second with women's results.
Athletes, are you ready? But first, before we're gonna go, we will have a quiet moment from the warm-up area. But before the quiet, I want to have some love to our superstar of the night. Ray Lee is gonna sing the national anthem of Norway.
Haven't heard this before, so let's do this.
Ja, vi elsker dette landet som det stiger frem. Furet tverrbitt over vannet med de 1000 hjem. Elsker, elsker det å tenke på vår far og mor, og den saga natt som senker drømmer på vår jord, og den saga natt som senker drømmer på vår jord.
Okay, so while she was singing, we zipped over and we took a peek, just a silent peek over
All
at
right, it's
Australia,
time
which
to
has
go
already kicked off.
CrossFit Gamlebyen. As you can see on the board, the names are up. I got some love between CrossFit love here. Nice to see. All right, athletes.
Now that is
Super important.
Roger, I can't remember his last name,
Stand
but he is
tall.
the CEO of the Norwegian CrossFit Championship and I believe part owner of CrossFit Gamlebyen.
Chalk for Nikko. Are we ready, CrossFit Gamlebyen? Ten seconds, athletes. Athletes ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Come on, people.
Okay, so this is apparently going to be a little bit of a rough thing every week. No music on these things. That's
people,
because
I guess
they're
give them
afraid
some
of
love
some
here.
copyright infringement. I'm going to go ahead and toss in some music.
All the
for
way
you.
up.
So here they are. The athletes are into their first set of 21 deadlifts. While they're doing that, let's check in on what scores were put up in 2018 when 18.4 first ran. Event winner was Caroline Reason-Thibault of Canada. Second place, Rachel Garibay, who made her CrossFit Games debut this year. Anna Fragu took third. Fragu was just penalized. She was given sanctions for a tainted drug test. What else? Cassidy Lance McWhirter, who won the CrossFit Open, was down in near 10th. Same with Katrin Davisdottir with Annie Thorisdottir right underneath her. Tia Claire Toomey under that. Carrie Pierce. So again, this Laura Horvath is on there too. This is a workout that really tailors to those classic CrossFit Games athletes and skill sets. Caroline Reason-Thibault finished this in 5 minutes and 58 seconds. That is the time to beat for women. 5 minutes 50. Let me write that down. 5 minutes 58 seconds for women. Let's check what it was for men. All right, so Austin Malleolo completed 18.4 in 6 minutes and 2 seconds. So this is a workout where the women beat the men in the times. Does that show that we are going to see better performances from Holte and Sturt than we are from Newbury and Billaudel? We will see. I'm going to go hit this button. We're going to switch over and peek in on Australia really quick. Okay, so Australia is already on to the handstand walks. They are a little bit behind, so 7 minutes and 37 seconds, 36 seconds is what Sturt finished in. And it looks like Newbury is starting probably pretty close to his last round of those handstand walks. So we'll watch them finish here. And there he goes, high five. Okay, so we saw about an 8-minute finish and an 7 minute and 30 something second finish for Australia. Zipping back to Norway.
There we go. Come on, people, help Nikko over the line. There we go. And we have some handstand walk.
And there they go into their first round of handstand walks. If you are just now tuning in, 18.4 is the workout of the night. 18.4 is now also 20.3. It is 21:15.9 of deadlifts and headstand push-ups, and then jumping up the weight for another round of deadlifts with handstand walks. Average times from 2018 are going to be somewhere for elites or somewhere in the 7-minute range. We saw Austin Malleolo complete it in 6 minutes and 2 seconds in 2018, and we saw Carol Ann Reason-Thibault. Was it Cassie Lance McWhirter? Either way, we saw somebody on the women's side complete it in 5 minutes and 58 seconds. We just watched in Australia, Maddie Sturt finished it around 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and James Newbury around 8 minutes. So we are going to see if athletes are able to keep up with times from 2018, and so far we haven't seen it. So we'll see how Nicolay Billaudel and Kristin Holte finish here in this round.
Second lap on a handstand walk. And this girl here, she knows how to walk on those hands. Super easy peasy, all the way over. Nikko Theoden is getting up on his hands. Give Nikko Theoden some love, everybody. Nikko take is unbroken. No worries there.
Okay, so it is a small clock, but it is a professional scoring clock. We're at 5 minutes and 53 seconds. 5 minutes, 58 seconds is the time to beat from 2018. It looks like, unless somebody hits that in the next couple of minutes, we won't see that time passed in this workout announcement, but maybe by Monday. 6 minutes on the clock. 6:02 was when Austin Malleolo completed this in 2018. So Nicolay Billaudel is a little bit behind that.
Come on all the way. Holte is finished. But in CrossFit, the last man standing gives the most love. Come on, people. Nikko needs some love. We have 2 more minutes.
Look, in his defense, 315 pounds across 21, 15, and 9 reps is a lot of weight moved. Come on, Nikko, pick it up.
Come on. We have 1.5 more minutes. 1:30, 1:30. Handstand walk. 1 minute and 5 seconds. Come on, Nikko. $50 seconds.
All right, turn around, bring it back, Nikko. Turn around,
5-0.
bring it back. It's easy for me to say, right? So Nicolay Billaudel made it through, I believe it was second cut at the CrossFit Games, which was heavy on the handstand walk. So we know that he can do it, but it is not easy to go inverted after you're rushing all of your blood into your lower extremities doing those deadlifts, and your back has to be exhausted. So that can cause some form breakdown when you're doing something like a handstand walk.
10 more seconds.
And to the bar.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time.
All right, so that was 18.4, now 19.3 with Kristin Holte, Nicolay Billaudel, Maddie Sturt, and James Newbury. For WODDITY, I am Ben Garves. Make sure you RSVP. Make sure you subscribe to the WODDITY podcast for news about CrossFit. We do CrossFit news in 5 minutes or less, Monday through Friday. And weekends, if it's something special, you can always subscribe to the WODDITY YouTube channel right here. We will participate in every single main event live stream of the CrossFit Open and the sanctional events and the CrossFit Games. I'm Ben Garves. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to go to WODDITY.com and pick up some of our limited edition shirts for the CrossFit Open. Thanks a lot for attending. Have a great day.